Southern California. Hope you had a great weekend. Boy, was it an interesting weather day out there today. Starting early this morning, we had some nocturnal thunderstorms moving through southeastern San Diego County and southern Imperial County. We got a little break, and then more storms popped up this afternoon. It all has to do with a wave of tropical moisture that was sent in our direction from Baja California. Out there this afternoon, that wave is lifting to the north away from us, and the showers and thunderstorms have sort of rained themselves out. So while a sprinkle or two is possible here through about sunset, the majority of the rainfall for today is done. However, all the clouds we saw and some of the showers out there have really helped out in bringing the extreme heat down. This is impressive. Look at the 24-hour temperature change in Imperial County. We're running about 15 to 20 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. Julian down through Pine Valley, about 5 degrees cooler. So that tropical moisture, yes, it increased the humidity, brought some rain, but in turn, the temperatures have come down a bit. So as we approach 4:30, here's a look at conditions outside. Low triple-digit heat in Imperial County. It's been a while since we've been able to say that. Only 101 in El Centro, 100 in Ocotillo. You're sitting in the rain-cooled air, 102 in Salton City. It is warm, though, and humid where we haven't seen the rain. 87 currently in Escondido. Same with La Mesa. Downtown San Diego is sitting in the lower 80s. I want to give you a sneak preview of what's to come heading into the next week because we're kind of tracking a lot out there. There is some good news as we look at your weather headlines. That is, for the next couple of days, I'm talking through about Wednesday, there is going to be a slight break in the heat. One thing I want to mention, though, if you're heading out to the water, enjoying the nice weather that we have along the coastline, there is going to be some high surf and a high rip current risk as well, something to be mindful of. Make sure that you are swimming near a lifeguard and also just not getting in the water unless you're a strong swimmer. You might want to, though, or find some water to cool down in, though, because by the end of next week and into next weekend, we are talking about a really significant heat wave again moving into Southern California. This is likely going to be the hottest weather that we've seen so far this summer. And it all has to do with the all-important ridge of high pressure that we've been talking a lot about this summer. So let's get into it. Let's look at the big picture here. Starting on Tuesday, notice where that high pressure ridge is. It has moved to the east and weakened a little bit now over the southern plains. So with the ridge goes the intense heat. We get a slight break Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, the ridge is on the move. It begins to move to the west again. It's over the Four Corners by Thursday afternoon. It's getting stronger. And look at what happens by Friday and into Saturday. That ridge, the heat dome, if you will, is sitting almost directly overhead of Southern California, which is pretty rare. We don't get that very often. So obviously the temperatures are going to respond to this. This product that I'm showing you is a National Weather Service heat risk map. It is kind of a good perspective as to just how intense the heat's going to be. This is valid for Saturday. Anywhere that you see in orange, that is a level for extreme heat risk, which should be taken very seriously. It includes most of Imperial County, gets into the San Diego County mountains, west of that, major heat risk into the valleys, and even a moderate heat risk extending almost all the way to the coastline. So you get the idea. It is going to be very hot out there for the second half of this upcoming week. Let's put some numbers to this and show you kind of what we're thinking. This is a rough estimate of temperatures on Thursday afternoon. Already about 118, 120 from Brawley down through El Centro. We're back in the 90s in the mountains, mid-80s for the valleys. That's just the start. That ridge gets closer to us by Friday, and by Friday afternoon, we're talking 120s from Brawley, El Centro, possibly Ocotillo as well at 116. Mid-90s from Julian to Pine Valley, upper 80s in the valleys. La Mesa is near 90 degrees, and it does look like Saturday may be the hottest day out in Imperial County. We start off with temperatures near 100 degrees, and then we shoot up really quickly, possibly to 120, 125 on Saturday afternoon. Some spots, again, you can't even rule out getting close to 130 depending on how this plays out, which would be possibly record-breaking. So, yeah, it is going to be a very hot and dangerous stretch of weather to come on the back half of this upcoming week. Let's put everything we just talked about together, show you the extended forecast, starting with the coastline. Another day of a heat advisory on Monday, although it's going to not necessarily be that hot out there. We'll be about 80 degrees, so nothing we can't handle. Marine layer rolls inshore. Notice the warm up for the coast. Everybody is feeling the upcoming heat wave for late this week. 83 on Friday, 86. That's along the coast for Saturday. Mid-80s continue into Sunday. In the valleys, you too get a brief break from the extreme heat Tuesday into Wednesday. Temperatures start to get hotter again by Thursday. We're at 96 degrees by Saturday. And in the mountains, we have thrown in the triple-digit numbers here, at least for Saturday. We're forecasting 100 degrees for next Saturday. That spots like Julian and through Pine Valley as well. And this is just tough to look at. Check out the 7-day for the deserts in Imperial County. Yes, a small break from the heat Tuesday into Wednesday. We really ramp things up by Friday at 119, 121 for Saturday. That's conservative. More than likely, you're going to have to bump these numbers up a bit. Still at 119 degrees on Sunday with overnight lows in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees.